Welcome back, guys. Again, Rockwood GeoPro FPS 220 2025, newer model, looking for ways to maximize space, and also looking at these cup holders here. You can barely fit a can in there, can hardly fit anything else in there, but oh, check it out. Stay tuned, I'll show you how to get it done. All right, welcome back. Explain the origin of this next one. We're camping, and my wife is, we're just having a cup of coffee, and she has a cup that we're trying to get put into this cup holder in the couch area of our G20 FPS, and she can't get the cup to fit in there. So both of these are pretty small. They're only like a maybe 3-inch outside diameter. I'm not quite sure what the inside diameter is, but it'll fit a can, beer can or a soda can or whatever, but it doesn't fit normal cups that people use when they're camping. So I looked to see if there's any way I could maybe put a larger cup holder in there. So I started kind of fiddling with it and getting it to come out, and so that's all it is. So it's just a little plastic cup. You look down inside and there's, a little bit of room down in there. So I thought, well, shoot. Everybody knows that storage is gold in a trailer, especially when they're small. And so I figured I'd see if there's any way I could use that space underneath there while still finding a way to make it a little bit bigger, so we could fit normal size cups in there. So that's how the journey began. Let's see where it goes. All right, so when I'm doing these videos, oftentimes I have a decent idea of what I want to do, but I haven't quite fleshed it all the way out. That's one of the reasons why I record a lot of stuff and then edit it all down and kind of show you what works and what doesn't. Obviously, I don't go through in depth what doesn't work. So sometimes you'll hear references in the beginnings of the video that don't end up coming to fruition, and that's just because something or another didn't work out. So what I'm trying to do with these videos is to help others to shortcut the mistakes and the things that don't work and just get right to the stuff that does work. So if there's any questions anybody ever has, post them in the comments. I'll do my best to get to them. I'm not real skilled at this YouTube thing. I'm just trying to help other people out that have late model trailers and want to maximize efficiencies and find better storage and lighting and that kind of thing. So I'm an electrician, so I tend to focus on lighting, but when I find places to be able to increase storage, to find other little nooks and crannies to keep little things in, because this is just a 21 foot long trailer, something like that. So we don't have a whole lot of storage to begin with. So I'm looking for places to maximize storage, and if you do too, then hopefully these will help you out. Okay, so I took the cup holder out and went to Home Depot with this thing and a tape measure. I had previously taken a tape measure and dropped it down inside the hole all the way down there, because I don't know if maybe I can get a video shot of that down in there. Get some light, and you can see there's a decent amount of room down in there. This ends up being like 11.5 inches from the bottom up to about this surface. So maybe, 8 to 10 inches underneath this guy. So if we keep using this guy, I was looking into possibly getting a cup holder that had a base that kind of flared out when it got to this point. So you'd have a little bit of a base that would still fit inside here, but then it would it would flare out a little bit so that you could put bigger cups down inside there. You don't have a whole lot of room back here, so I'm not sure if that's really going to work. So we'll see if we can find a better solution to that while still being able to maximize that space, that big area dead space down inside there, while still keeping a cup holder in there. So I took this to Home Depot, and what I found was just a regular 2-inch diameter piece of PVC pipe, and then a cap down there. And this ends up being almost the exact same diameter, just a little bit less, which is actually good because this fits pretty securely down inside there. So I want something that's going to slide easily in and out. So this cap, I don't want to lose it down in there, but you can see it just kind of barely fits in there. I think what I'll do is I'll try to trim out these extra little pieces out of here so that it doesn't impede this cap coming in and out, because ultimately this is going to be the lightest piece, well, other than the base of this. Then I found a clean out cap to put on the top, and then a flush mount screw down cap that goes inside here. The thought being that I would use these holes and put screws or bolts or something like that directly into there. So that way this would essentially screw this off, and you'll be able to see down inside here and get little things out of here. So it's not going to be much. I'll chop this thing down because I only have this much room in there. You'll see if I put this down inside there, I'll have to cut a significant portion off because I'll also need this to sit down inside there. So just looking at that, I'll have to take out. So that the piece of pipe's only really going to be about this long, but it should work to store little trinkets. Maybe I tried using this little rubber magnet thing to hold our TV remote, but it's not real powerful magnet, so it kind of falls off all the time. It's fine once we're stationary, but using that when we're traveling is not really conducive to keeping the remote either there or functional. So I thought maybe the remote might fit down inside there, so who knows what we'll find to store down in there. Maybe this video will never even make it out, we'll see. So this is our remote, and it does stick there when we're not moving, but it's not real strong. So anytime we're moving, I'll end up coming and this thing will be on the ground or something. What I found is, boy, that fits down inside there perfectly, right there. So the remote will fit down inside there, and it'll be, I don't know, about as long as we need to have it. So even if it's just the remote that sticks down inside there, hey, it's a extra storage. And besides, I got a second one over here, so I can pull this one out and keep something else different down inside there. So I'm going to need 2 hands to get that out of there. So, well, maybe not. There we go. So same thing here on this side. So I should be able to get a 2-for-1 out of this piece of pipe. I can cut this thing in half or trim it down however I need it, however deep it needs to go, so that it fits and can store little bits and pieces down in there. So first thing I want to do is I want to trim out some of this stuff right here, because it's really going to impede I mean, it's fine to get this thing wedged down in there, but it doesn't need to be in there that tight. So if I trim this stuff around, you can see the ring that's around here. So you want to make sure you stay inside of that, because then the lip of this thing will cover up the edges there. So, and if I need to, I can get back in there and glue some of this stuff down. But I do want to take some of this out just because it makes it too difficult to get stuff in and out of there. So let's start on this side so you can see better. I'm just going to take the factory cuts right here, and I'm just going to trim. Make sure your knife is nice and sharp. Trim what they did out. I'm just taking this out. Doesn't need to be a real clean, perfect cut, just because it's going to be, again, covered up by the lip of this thing, but it'll give us smooth sailing when we're trying to pull the storage thing back in and out of here. I'm going to glue this cap on with the understanding that this thing is going to go all the way down in there, and the weight of the storage tube and whatever we have in there will hold this thing down a little more, so it's not rattling around in there like this. And if I really need to, I can put a little bit of electrical tape or something around the edge of this thing so that it fills up this gap a little bit more. But either way, I don't want all of this fabric and the cushioning and everything to keep that tube from sliding in and out very easily. All right, so next step, we're going to see we have about 11 and a half. So this is down in there. Just going to pull pull this guy down. So 11.5 minus 2 and we'll say 3/4, just make a round number. Sinks down in there, because I don't want it sitting up like this either, because I don't want to see that jagged edge. I want this to sit all the way down there, but I want to maximize the depth of this and make sure that I get as much out of in here as I can. So we'll bring you over, you can see down in a little bit better now. So you can see how much space there is down inside there. But you don't want to just shove stuff down in there, because there is that little crack down there. You don't want it to go too far down. So there's some space down in there, so let's maximize that, huh? Six and 3/4 right there. Take my new larger size PVC curves I just got. Get a nice decent cut on it. Line that up with that crow's foot. Cut. Take it slow so it doesn't snap. One click at a time. Alright, pretty straight, not too bad. I'll dry fit all these things together. See if I can get this guy to stick on there. I have to find a way. Well, if I flip this thing over, that might actually be better. So I have a flat side. To screw that to using those little screw holes. So this whole thing should be 11.5 or less. And I have 11 inches exactly. So I could probably get another 1/2 inch out of it. I don't want to recut it, but maybe for the other one, I'll get an extra 1/2 inch out of it. But for now, I'm pretty happy with this thing. Trying to center this as best I can over the top of this thing. Little tech screws here, little pan head tech screws. Pick those up at Home Depot. Again, making sure this sucker's centered. I'm just going through the holes, the existing holes that are there. Almost lines up with some of the markings on the top of this cap. Hold that steady. Steady as my shaky hands will go. All right. Try not to strip it out as I go. Right. And that. Now the cup itself is what swivels in. Worst case scenario, if somebody yanks too hard on it or something, then I can always use those other. Or if I am a little bit off there. You see a little bit lip there, no lip there. Hopefully that won't make a difference. We'll check it out when we go inside. Let's go see. All right, back inside. Got our cup. This is still just dry fit. It's not glued together yet. We'll work on that. I want to make sure everything fits and works before we get it all dried in there. That's in there. Cool. She still holds down there pretty good. Doesn't look like much has changed until you pull the sucker up. You got your extra storage in there. Ta-da. This one I've cut it 7 1/4, 1/2 inch larger, just to get that extra little 1/2 inch out of there. Sometimes that extra 1/2 inch is worth it. Right, ladies? Let's try this. $11.5 strong. So once I glue that on there, that should fit just fine. Okay. Stuff sets super fast, so you don't need to wait a whole lot. Just the outside edge, a little bit on the inside here. As you put it in there, twist a little bit so that it melts together. Make sure nothing drips. If the color bothers you, you can just paint it over once you get done. Some spray paint or something. It's not going to be visible. You're not going to see anything down in there. So, all right, that's it. Obviously, I don't know. I say obviously, but I'm still saying it. You're not going to glue this onto there because this is what you want to be able to unscrew. Unless you just want a random cavity, sealed cavity inside there. I don't know why you'd want that, but unless you're smuggling stuff across the border somewhere. Cool. All right, one down. Maybe we'll get the cup holder for the other one. Put that guy in there. Make sure your glue is screwed shut so it doesn't tip over and ruin your tailgate. Before I do anything else, cap put back on, nice and tight. Okay, now we'll try this. Here we go. You don't like the glue, you don't like the whatever the color, you can always just spray paint this whatever color you wanted. We might do that a little bit later, but for right now I just want to make sure they fit. Back inside, got both. See, this is the longer one, so I'll stick that one down in there. This one right here. Good to go. All right, so we're all done here, and think about some stuff to keep in there. So I'm sure that anybody who's ever gone camping before has always ended up in need for some Ziploc baggies. So you can keep some empty Ziplocs or full Ziplocs for those of you hippies who keep random organic stuff in Ziploc baggies. No judgment, by the way. Or you can always keep candy in there, such as I do in this one. Keep some candy in this one. Aha, there's your candy. I'm not going to show you, they're not advertising, so neither am I. Put that back away. Voila. Mother-in-law is none the wiser, and neither is Johnny Law, right? All right, so I said originally one of the main reasons this thing came about is we're hanging out in our camper, having a drink, just drinking our drinks, and this thing just doesn't stay in there. There's no real point to it. You can't really keep anything besides a can of beer or soda in there, but if you're gonna mix a cocktail or anything and put it in a regular cup, it doesn't really work. But then my wife found these on Amazon. I'll get you a link to put in the comments there. So this thing goes down inside here and offsets as well. You can swivel it one way or the other if you want to. This guy sits in there just perfectly. Swivel it around so the handle faces you, whatever you want to do. All right. Holds regular size, or only keeps her Stanley cup in there. All the ladies have Stanley cups, so does my wife. And in addition, you can still get access to your storage. So these things are pretty handy too. They do stick up a little bit, but you know, it's not too bad when they're sitting there. It's arm height and hold just about anything. Bonus.